20 years ago, this idea started. It showed up on the planet. I just happened to be in the right queue at the right time when the downloads were going. And so I was very blessed to receive some information that was not only helpful in my own life, but shareable, as it turns out. So I did this work for a while on my own, of course, in private sessions, and because my skepticism was as high as anybody's I've met in any of the classes I've taught, because I had no idea what this was, or really where it came from, or any of that. If any of you have read the PSYCH-K book, I mean, it put the beginning of PSYCH-K in the book so that you would understand. This didn't come out of, I was an ascended master in the full lotus position one day, divinity download. No, I was really pissed off at myself for making a bunch of mistakes that were really stupid mistakes on a flyer I was trying to create. Because in those days, my first introduction to the world of kinesiology was educational kinesiology, now mostly known as brain gym. And that was the first time I'd even seen muscle testing happen. So I went through all their courses, I became an instructor of their courses at a certain level, and so I'm trying to put together this information to make a class happen, and I just messed up this flyer twice in a row with little details that I had never missed before. And so in this, long story short, in a state of rage and anger at myself and at the universe, PSYCH-K was born. So it's not a really pretty story, nor particularly spiritually elevating one. But I guess conflicts are formed under various conditions, and mine was being angry that I had made these mistakes, and so with lots of anger and frustration, I just clenched my fist and said, okay, God, if you don't want me to do this, what do you want me to do? I mean, really, I was angry as all get out. And that was a rhetorical question. I didn't really expect an answer. Just venting, actually. But the interesting thing was there was an answer. And it came in the form of something I had never been able to manifest on purpose before, and that was pictures in my head. I could see like a scroll of information. It was the core belief balance. For those of you who are taking the advanced course, the whole thing, I mean, verbatim. So I'm thinking, well, look, I can see this in my mind's eye. I mean, there was no paper in front of me, and since I don't visualize well, never have, I thought, this is unusual. So I need to catch this. So I ran back inside where I had left only moments ago, being angry at my computer and myself, and began to type in this information that was in my head. And when it was complete, so the picture went away. I've never been able to cause it to be there again. Of course, I have a hard copy now and a digital copy, and many of you do as well. So that's really how the whole thing started. I mean, yeah, look, to make up a newer story, it would be really cool, but that was it. And then at that point, once I accepted that, and there was an inner knowing that this was important and I needed to figure out what it was and how to use it, over the course of 2 or 3 months, more information came in the form of other patterns like the relationship balance and the life bonding balance and so on, with all the instructions. They weren't in really cool times. They were actually sort of inconvenient times. So I wrote them down, some of them on napkins and stuff, because I'm out someplace where I can't get the paper, and it was a very interesting experience. And then after I got all that stuff, and then I was kind of afraid of it. I didn't know what to do with it, and I didn't get any real clear sense of, well, where did this come from? And there was just a sense of, just do it. Shut up and do it. Okay. So that was the beginning of my guidance system in life spiritually, which was, no, Rob, over here, not over there, over there. So eventually began to trust the material, used it in private practice, saw results, decided that I should be able to teach this, because if I was the only therapist on the planet doing this, it was really a waste of very cool stuff. So I, at one point, began to put it in classroom format type stuff, began to teach the patterns to other people in classes. So after that began, and I found out I could teach it, transfer it, people could get this and learn it and then reproduce it and help other people, I just expanded my sphere of influence enormously. And I was so grateful, because people would tell me that stuff happened, good stuff. And so that really filled my heart with joy. And I thought, well, this is then a good thing to do. Then I kept doing it, kept teaching people, and kept doing it, kept teaching people for about 10 years, maybe, close to that. And then it got to the place where I could no longer do the classes that were being requested. Then I knew that I was the problem and not the solution. I had to teach others how to teach it, so that there was a cloning process that needed to go on of sorts. Started teaching people, and then I found out that people actually wanted to do this, and then they wanted to teach it, and then they whined about wanting to get together and have a conference. And this was like 2000, wasn't it, or 2001? I don't remember.
No, the first conference was 90.
Oh, it was 90 something? Oh, okay. Well, they'll tell you.
Instructors conference, first conference, 99.
Okay. The thing was, I couldn't figure out why people wanted to come all the way from wherever they lived and all the expense and the trouble and all that to get together and talk about this. They already had everything I could teach them. Why don't they just do it? And they kept saying, no, Rob, we really want to get together. We want to have a conference. We want to get together and talk. And I'm a hermit by nature, you know. I'm actually a pretty private person. So I'm thinking, I don't get why. I wouldn't go. I mean, I'm happy. So, and they insisted, and at that time, I guess there were about 25 instructors, 24, 25 instructors, and 22 of them wanted to come. This stunned me. I mean, I had no idea that people actually were that serious about this. But they showed up, and they loved it. Then they said, we want to do it again. I said, well, why? We already did it. Let's wait a few years, okay? So we have something else to talk about. It was wild. So I've learned a lot from the community of souls that have been drawn to this idea, this thought form of PSYCH-K. And I just learned an enormous amount just last week because we had an instructors conference at Lake Arrowhead. And these folks showed up. I can't tell you what an amazing experience it is to be with a caliber of people that are so passionately committed to making a positive difference in the world. It's like I have the best job in the whole world. It's not a job. I had a job. I was in the corporate world for 14 years. That's a job. That's where you go and do something you don't like and get paid for it. The vast majority of people are in that boat. If you love your job, congratulations, and you get paid for it. Now, I love my job. 1986, I retired from things I call work, and I live my passion. And other people share their passion with me. And the beauty about that is not only have I managed to attract these incredibly talented, marvelous people, and a whole bunch of them that couldn't be here, but all of you. You're in my dream. Because I dreamt that dream a long time ago, and I did it back to the future, back to my future. And I created all of this in my mind that this would be my movie, and that you get to be in it, please. So I wrote you in my script, and here you are. And whether you know it or not, you wrote me in yours. Because we're all creating our own reality, and we are where we're drawn to be for a variety of reasons. So, and I realized that why I do it was actually part of the PSYCH-K book. The dedication to the book expressed best of all why I'm involved. Because I get to be with people who help other people recognize their divinity, discover their greatness, and become the peace they seek. And if we have a world filled with people like that recognize their divinity, discover their gifts, their greatness to give to the rest of us, and be that gift, then peace, not only individual inside here, but all over the world, that's the only possible outcome of that sequence of events. In the early days, trying to talk about this and answer the proverbial question, what is PSYCH-K? What is it to you, or what is it to them in terms of, well, what do you want it to be? Because it is that kind of thing. Our belief systems are foundational to our existence and our experience of life. So where doesn't it apply? I don't know. I haven't found the boundaries of that. I haven't found any part of our lives where beliefs don't matter. And that excites me. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me saying, well, is the envelope can get any bigger? What does it really affect? How can we affect various parts of our lives and the lives of the people on the planet by shifting beliefs?